The internet fundamentally changed the world and how people interact by bringing forth previously unimaginable reach, connection, collection of information, and content. It has changed the way people create, consume, engage, and discuss content and projects. It has even changed how we interact in society. While the internet has been with some of us our entire lives and now is deeply embedded in near everything we do daily, it is still new. Across generations, our understanding of how to best use it and our relationship with this tool is very different. Due to this, our relationship with technology and the internet is highly contradictory. We've grown up hearing to be careful on the internet and that the internet is not real life. The internet and the technology that is making it more embedded in our lives amplify both seemingly contradictory ideas. The internet is very much real life, and we need to be careful how we use it and perceive our relationship with it. At the same time, we understand how much of what we see there is curated, manipulated, and even fake. The question is, how much that even matters when fantasy is so immersive, feels better, and can be more interesting than real life. From static media and content to multimedia and transmedia, and soon the Metaverse, we've built new worlds. What once was fake is now a reality, and what's reality may not be so real. So let's explore this evolution and what it means for art, business, and our relationships. The building of worlds is nothing new. Still, it's one of the coolest and most impressive things we can do. It's central to storytelling, which is how we've communicated since the start of humanity. We build these worlds in our imagination and in media, whether it's conversations or social media feeds, books, movies, or TV shows. We even take these worlds and put our own spin on them in the form of fan fiction. These worlds provide an escape when we need them most, when reality at times is too much to bear, gaining comfort and a break momentarily. They're a way to express feelings and ideas, helping them gain traction, making hard instances more consumable and understandable. As we age, these worlds we've escaped into in our past become a special place, forming nostalgia. We've discussed how, a lot of times, nostalgia influences creators enough to bring back new iterations of their influences in 30-year cycles. This can be dangerous when creators and consumers focus on restorative nostalgia rather than reflective nostalgia, trying to recreate the past rather than take inspiration from the past and put a new spin on it. Doesn't push things forward. However, we all have our influences, the aspects that shape and inspire us, and we want to share them if we can. Art and creation in general have an incredible power to communicate and connect, making the world feel less isolated. As technology has advanced, it has had a similar goal. In many ways, it's been successful, and in other ways, it's created new barriers, changed our social expectations, and increased isolation. In the media, we've seen plenty of iterations of stories where people escape into a new world or split time in a new world, either physically or mentally, from older stories like Tron and Ready Player One to the surge of isekai series and animes. Isekais are fantasy stories where the main character is transported to a different world. They usually thrive in this environment after often being outcasts in their normal environment. There's a broad appeal for these stories as their audience often see themselves in the misunderstood hero. In these alternate world series, the main characters often feel relatable or work as a self-insert, and the story provides a sort of wish fulfillment and escape into a world where things can be better. A similar draw is in video games, another place where immersive worlds are built and the characters we control can often become idealized self-inserts. As we play them online, we see the best and the worst of the internet. Digital spaces provide comfort and potential connection, but sometimes that comfort and connection can bring out the worst in people. We often hear stories about people being verbally abused online in chats during games, and those who feel comfortable using slurs in language they wouldn't dare use in real life. People sometimes even amp up the misogyny when they hear a woman's voice. This poor behavior usually only occurs when a player feels comfortable hiding behind a screen and an avatar. The immersion and escape gaming offers may make this behavior seem like a more prevalent part of the culture, even if it's from a minority of players. It also may make it easier to use gaming as a scapegoat or act like it's a microcosm of overall online culture, but in reality, it's not too different from general online culture. Just like any other social platform, gaming often provides people with a sense of connection and community that pulls them deeper into the game for better or worse. In some cases, players form lifelong friendships and eventually meet in real life. Like other social media connection, what people know and see about each other is what the other side shares and makes observable. It's often a curated online existence. We do this in the physical world too, but comparatively, it's not as easy to control. As social media and our online personas and footprint have increased in importance in life, the desire and ability to create a fantasy and curate the world we show around ourselves grows. The belief that we know those we follow and connect with online also develops, building connections around key interests, values, and other commonalities are critical to growing a following. The most traditional stars in the world have felt accessible while maintaining a mystique and skill level that feels aspirational. On the other hand, influencers today are gaining star power, but they often shed the mystique and mystery for more access to bring people in. We've grown accustomed to thinking that because people share more about themselves online, we know them. This develops parasocial relationships. According to psychology researcher and professor David Giles, parasocial interactions take place exclusively while interacting with a persona via media and psychologically resemble real-life face-to-face interactions. This isn't abnormal. Humans are wired to connect, especially to faces and voices we recognize. Brands try to capitalize on this with recurring characters in commercials, humanizing their voices and posts on social media, and using influencers. But as we connect in a one-sided relationship, a fantasy may be created. We assume we know and like this person, that if we met, we'd hit it off or have some type of dynamic. We assume that the version they show us on the screen is exactly who they are in person, and often they influence us to be more like them. In a 2019 study called Parasocial Interactions and Relationships with Media Characters, an inventory of 60 years of research by Nicole Lieber and Holger Schramm, it was found that if an individual had a parasocial connection with a media persona, that persona can influence their political views and voting decisions, their purchasing behavior, attitudes about gender stereotypes, and their trust in various groups of people, such as scientists. This isn't inherently negative, it just stresses the importance of the media we're consuming, the communities we're engaging with, and the worlds we're diving into, and why we're consuming and immersing ourselves in certain things. Brands and creators looking to build their influence need to be aware of the community and many worlds they're building online and offline, the values and purposes of what they're building, and how they want people to engage. That sets the stage for the relationship that will develop. Building a world that is immersive helps creators stand out and deepens their connection with an audience. In 2013, Donald Glover masterfully created a world with his project called Because the Internet, which utilized transmedia. Multimedia tells one story in one channel with multiple forms of media such as text, photos, audio, and/or video to maximize engagement and cater to multiple styles of consumption. Cross-media originated in the advertising industry, where one story is told across many channels, so the same story may be distributed across a podcast, newspaper, website, and magazine to maximize reach to a broader audience. Transmedia stories flesh out the world of the story. While each story can stand alone, they are also connected, building a larger world while creating depth and providing greater understanding. Using different channels to tell these different stories caters to viewers and their preferred formats for consuming media. It also drives engagement across channels, as a podcast lover may pick up a magazine to engage with more of the story world. Working across physical and digital spaces, including social media, film scripts, short films, interviews, live performances, listening sessions in the park, music, and more, Donald Glover allowed all the elements to come together. He crafted a world for his fans to immerse themselves in. Even as a musician, Glover believes that in the modern age, you've got to build a bigger world beyond albums. During this time, he had a very honest Instagram post describing his feelings of depression and shared an open letter saying that with this album, he wanted to make something that says no matter how bad you fuck up or mistakes you've made during the year, your life, your eternity, you're always allowed to be better. You're always allowed to grow up if you want. With that idea, connection, and message in mind, he wanted to inspire his audience, so he began crafting. Clapping for the wrong reasons was the first piece Glover created in his world for his audience to experience. The short film was somewhat cryptic, but set the stage and gave the first look into the world Glover was building. The audience got to know the life of his character and the key themes to decipher. The first drop of the short film was a 50-second version for sharing on social media, and then a couple weeks later, he shared a 24-minute version on YouTube. In addition, a movie poster came out that showed the characters in the film and the album world. He then brought this world that was starting to be built digitally to physical reality with a set of mansion parties. The mansions were decorated to look like the main character, the boy's mansion. This allowed the audiences to feel like they were engaging with the world physically. During the rollout, he made appearances in parks across North America, doing public listening sessions with fans in character as the boy. Expressing the importance of real-world connection and interaction, he stated, "I want these listening parties to happen in the real world, to have people there so they can feel, rather than going and getting it curated through a Tumblr." He felt allowed to experience more human interaction, awareness, and perspective in a real-world interaction. During these events, he engaged with fans and offered advice, such as telling them to learn to code, which would then have greater implications down the road for fans to immerse themselves even more. To formally announce the impending album, Glover dropped the song and music video, Yaphet Kotto, which foreshadows events in the BTI narrative and world. However, Yaphet Kotto is not a song on the project and seems like just a loosey, but ties into the larger world. With the release of the album, there was also the release of a screenplay to accompany the album. Unrealized by some, during Glover's live shows on his tour, not only did he have interactive backdrops that fans could interact with using an app, but he acted out parts of the screenplay. He merged the digital and physical worlds. The experience continued as he conducted interviews as the boy, hid secret tracks in the source code of his websites, and created social media profiles for the characters. Rather than acting out scenes from the script, his music videos expanded the world he was building, creating new scenarios, showing new environments and events. Effectively, the world and the physical and digital elements of the world overlapped, creating moments and experiences for fans to dive into and discover. The process of creating worlds didn't just stop with Because the Internet, even though that was the most involved part of the process. Before his next album, Awaken My Love, he created an application called Pharos. The Pharos app had a countdown that released information and allowed fans to buy tickets. He had a big concert in Joshua Tree where he created a mock town and performed. Fans could use their phones for augmented reality to enhance the stage and show. After the concert, the Pharos app turned into an entertainment app where fans could use VR headsets to replay the concert or watch new music videos he released. More and more, the physical and digital worlds are blending as new worlds are created. Creators and companies can create new and immersive worlds that lead to immersive experiences, keeping their audiences engaged longer and more fully. Virtual reality and augmented reality allow for more immersive worlds to be built. The process for building worlds will continue to evolve. The metaverse is looming and offers an escape into digital worlds. Before that, the digital and physical worlds will continue to play off each other with technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain. But even before that, we've seen similar interest in creative-driven virtual worlds that drive social interactions with games like Fortnite, Minecraft, and Roblox. We've seen Fortnite and Roblox concerts and music videos as creators look to create new spaces, engage with new audiences, and expand the communities or micro worlds they've built. There will be more to come. Companies like Rally are empowering artists to build deeper communities and even, in a sense, micro worlds with social tokens that allow creators to build digital economies around their work. Social tokens are a type of cryptocurrency that a brand, community, or influencer can use to monetize themselves beyond the typical means. Many influencers, celebrities, and businesses these days use social media or other media streams to monetize their skills or services. Typically, in such scenarios, the medium or platform they use, such as Facebook or Instagram, shares the revenue and exerts artistic control on their content. With social tokens, the content creators can eliminate the barrier and bring forward a new principle of ownership in the digital economy. For example, artists can offer token holders extra perks and benefits, including hangouts, exclusive access to Q&As, video shoutouts, or even producers making custom beats for fans. As creators build their own economies that fans can engage in, trade in, and access exclusive content, they can further build a micro world across platforms. While there are many reasons to be skeptical long-term of crypto due to instability of endless speculation and a seemingly get-rich-quick gold rush, overall blockchain technology has some potential to be really interesting. As we see it develop, there will be more understanding of its applications and limitations, but big tech is currently placing its resources and bets on the metaverse. As mentioned, big tech and even banks are investing resources and placing bets on the metaverse. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella seem to think it's the future of the internet. The metaverse is defined by Anshua Roy of XR Today's as a simulated digital environment that uses augmented reality, virtual reality, and blockchain, along with concepts from social media to create spaces for rich user interaction mimicking the real world. Think of Sims, Second Life, or PlayStation Home on steroids, where a digital avatar of a person is inserted into the world and simulates their real-world presence. I have yet to see a metaverse application that's not just a Sims or Ready Player One fantasy. Part of that may be because the term metaverse first appears in the 1992 science fiction novel Snow Crash, where users use the metaverse as an escape from a futuristic, largely dystopian world. Sounds timely for where we are today. But again, we're seeing the biggest creators pulling from the media that shaped them, and they may even be limited by that. In the current state, it does not seem to be better than Fortnite or other MMOs. However, the value is in what can be created going forward, especially if it remains decentralized. Roy of XR Today notes several implications the metaverse offers. In addition to two-dimensional digital spaces, users will now have an immersive reality that they can occasionally inhabit. Creators and designers, especially 3D modeling and VR world building experts, can expect new opportunities on the road ahead. The metaverse opens a new economy where wealth can be traded, created, and enhanced using a currency distinct but related to the real world. The metaverse necessitates the evolution of new technologies for its execution. For example, you need a digital me or the digital twin of a person to simulate a real-world presence. There are concerns around data privacy, security, diversity, and ethical behavior, problems of the real world that may take on a new dimension in a virtual one. In this decentralized space, creators will potentially have the freedom to build worlds much more effectively. They are taking their world from pages in novels or in someone else's game to the metaverse for large swaths to experience firsthand precisely as they want and in a dynamic and ever-changing way. Whether the metaverse and the further convergence of our digital and physical world and realities is a good thing is still to be determined. Social media, the internet, and the metaverse, AR and VR, and blockchain are tools that can be used positively or negatively. We're still navigating how to use them and their impact on people. From what we know, these mediums and technologies expand the reach of creators and brands, giving them more potential for impact, engaging, bringing people into their world, and connecting them. So with that, creators and brands should take the time to consider their goals and the impact they want to have with the communities and worlds they build for themselves and their audience. When thinking about that impact, consider why masses of people are seeking connections and delving into forms of escapism at such high rates in ways like never before. Feelings of heightened isolation, fear that society is less stable than ever, and greater financial pressures leave people feeling vulnerable. They may seek to get away from their real lives by diving deeply in another world or new community in this state. This sort of disengagement from reality can be very dangerous and damaging. So while creators and brands build new worlds and spaces, consider how to foster connections across the community and bring the physical world into any virtual world or reality that is being built. Allow that escape not to be disconnected from the physical world, but offer a better way to experience it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and the subscribe button. If you have any comments or suggestions, or topics you want me to cover in the future, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.